What up, everybody? Welcome to Get Your News On with Ron. Good to see y'all. Shakespeare, what's going on? You guys know the drill. Once we get 30 people over on the Live Me app, that's when I sing the theme song, and the show officially begins. Howdy, howdy, Joe. What's up, buddy? Good morning. I'm still a little congested. I'm still a little stuffed up. I do apologize for that, guys. Random, I do it. What's up? That's an interesting screen name. Oblivion, how's it going? Good morning. Long Beach, good morning. Good morning, good morning. So I almost took your advice and went to Becca. How's it going? It's been a while. Good to see you. Long Beach, I almost took your advice for my date night and went to Dem Socialist. What's up? Honeybee, what's up? And went to the Redwood last night in Los Angeles. But unfortunately, my girlfriend and I, well, not unfortunately, because we still had a wonderful evening, but we ended up going to Story's bookstore in Echo Park instead, and we went on a nice walk. We saw a really good string band that was playing on the patio, and then we got some vegan ice cream. Such an LA night out, very LA-esque night. Guys, for anyone just tuning in, this is Get Your News On with Ron, the world's first viewer-curated streaming news show. What does that mean? That means you guys tweet me articles at Rob Placone, or you use our Reddit subsection, which is just reddit.com/r/getyournewsonwithron. And that's how we build the show. Once we have 30 people over on the Live Me stream, we officially have begun, and I will play the theme song. We're almost there now, so I'm going to get my guitar to get ready to play. And guys, I'm still a little under the weather. You can tell I have a little bit of a nasal going on. Becca, you haven't been on a date in 5 years? Why not? Just not feeling it? What is a date like? It's a lot of fun. Dates can be really cool or really bad. I mean, I've been with my girlfriend for a while now, so we've gotten pretty good at going on dates. Was it a good show? I checked out the band, and they were pretty good. And yeah, we wanted to go. Like we just opted for something else. Actually, when I found out that Laura Ruth Ward is doing a residency at the Echo on Mondays, I marked that down. I got to check her out. I don't know if I can check her out next Monday, but definitely before January's over, I got to check that out. Guys, I got to get the guitar. All right, guys, we are almost there. The show is about to begin. Yeah, I love the Echo, and I really love Lauren Ruth Ward. I really enjoy her music. I've only started getting into it, and yeah, when I saw she was doing a residency there, because at first I saw like, oh crap, I missed it. She was in town on Monday, but then I went to her website. I saw she's doing the Monday residency at the Echo, and I was like, I am totally going to one of those. Becca, thank you so much for the likes and the star points. You'll get that good date. It'll happen. All right. We are just about there. Know any Rancid or Social D on acoustic? I do, but we can't do covers anymore because we're over on YouTube as well as Live Me. Sorry. Yeah, I do know some Rancid. And I know some Social D as well. But yeah, we can't do the covers anymore because we're over on the YouTubes. I mean, chances are I could, and no one would do anything, but you're not supposed to. So yeah. Guys, we are past 30. Get your news on, Ron. If you wanna know what's going on, we're getting our news on today. Get your news on. yeah. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together. We'll make it our own. Get your news on the run. Just wanna know what's going on. Get our news on. My real name is Ron Placone. And this is Get Your News On With Ron, the world's first viewer-curated streaming. With how the Hangouts audio filter works, you could probably just get away with it. Yeah, I know. I got to figure that out. I know, apparently, guys, over on the YouTube, whenever we're streaming, sometimes when I play a song, the audio, like, maxes out and gets choppy. I don't know why that is. I'm trying to figure it out. If you know anything, leave a comment below and help me out with that. Because, yeah, I would like it. I would like to figure that out. And we already got some articles from you guys. And again, my apologies. I am a little under the weather, fighting a cold. And, you know, to be totally honest with you guys, I think I contracted an ear infection from the gym. Especially whenever I sing, I feel like I'm underwater. Like when I just sang the theme song, it was really like I felt like I was like underwater doing it. And I have an appointment. I do have an appointment, so hopefully I'm going to get the drops and all that shit. I feel okay. Like I don't feel sick. I'm just, yeah, it's just annoying. And yeah, you look familiar, man. Well, do you watch the Jimmy Dore show or the Young Turks or TYT Nation or anything like that? You might know me from that. So yeah, I think I got an ear infection. And you know what I think? I think for an ear infection, you shouldn't have to go to the doctor. You should be able to just get the prescription like at a pharmacy. Like you should be able to go to a pharmacy, be like, I have an ear infection. And they'll just be like, because all you need are the drops. And then in like an hour, you're fine. But you have to go to a doctor for that, you know? And so how do you like, I called my doctor first to make sure they take my new insurance. Cause you know, of course my plan switched and they do. So that's good. And then I was like, look, I have an ear infection. You know, I need to get seen so I can just get some drops. And they're like, well, the earliest we can see you is Monday. I was like, all right, like let's put in for Monday in case I decide I want to be in pain for 4 days. In case I decide I want to have trouble sleeping for the next 4 nights because I have this ear infection, we'll do that. Like, why would you? Like, I was like, it's just I can't just walk in and like just get like, oh yeah, your ears are fucked up. Like, I don't know, man. I feel like a doctor's diagnosis on this is probably good. Yeah, but I mean, an ear infection's an ear infection. Like, I mean, I've had them my whole life. I'm pretty sure, like, what one? Yeah. Well, I gotta. What I'm doing is I'm going to one of those minute clinic things, which I'm not thrilled about. But I mean, I got, you know, like I can't just like walk around with this thing. It's annoying. You know, like it's not comfortable. When I was a kid, well, yeah. I would get ear infections all the time when I was a kid, like all the freaking time. I guess most people do because like your ear canals are like not completely formed yet, so you get that all the time. So anyway, guys, I am struggling. I am a little under the weather. I just tweeted that a neti pot is another trendy hipster thing to make sick hipsters snort salt water. And I'm making fun of myself. I used a neti pot. There's self-deprecation here. But that's pretty much, I mean, I was using it and I was just like, I'm snorting salt water. That's what I'm doing. Like, I'm snorting salt water. All right. So let's get to some news, shall we? Man, you guys have already been sending stuff. Awesome. Love it. Okay. Cody. Wait, is this yours from yesterday? This is from yesterday. Okay. Somebody just retweeted it. Here we go. This is from Whiskers Crawley. Stop neoliberalism. I'm with ya. Here we go. Oh, and this is some bad news. This is something that we've been covering some. The House votes to renew the surveillance law. All right, and of course a goddamn advertisement popped up because this is from the New York Times. House votes to renew surveillance law, rejecting new privacy limits. The House of Representatives voted on Thursday to extend the National Security Agency's warrantless surveillance program for 6 years with minimal changes, rejecting a years-long effort by a bipartisan group of lawmakers to impose significant new privacy limits when it sweeps up Americans' emails and other personal communications. So that loophole we were talking about earlier this week, where basically as long as they say it's an issue of national security, where it's a threat of national security, or if it doesn't directly involve Americans completely, they can just look at whatever they want. And that Intercept article we covered earlier this week, let's keep in mind the analogy they made. The FBI looks at information from other people that they have no business looking at. They look at that the way you or I uses Google. So think about the way you use a search engine just throughout your day. Whenever you need to Google whatever, that's what they do when it comes to information. So the legislation approved on Thursday still has to go through the Senate. But, I mean, the Senate has a majority Republican base, too. I mean, this is probably going to be fine. Not fine. I mean, it's not, the legislation's not fine, but it will not have a problem passing. That's what I meant. Congress did in 2015 vote to end and replace another program that Mr. Snowden exposed, under which the NSA had been secretly collecting logs of Americans' domestic phone calls in bulk. But reform-minded lawmakers who hoped to add significant new privacy constraints to the warrantless surveillance program fell short on Thursday. The vote was a victory for the Trump administration and the intelligence community, which opposed imposing major new curbs on the program, and for Republican leadership, including House Speaker Paul Ryan, that treasure, that gem, good old Polly Ryan, threatens us with retirement all the time, who had blocked the House from an opportunity to consider a less sweeping compromise package. They gambled that faced with an all or essentially nothing choice. A majority of lawmakers would choose the status quo, and they won. Before approving the extension of the law, known as Section 702 of the FISA Amendments Act, the House voted 233 to 183 to reject an amendment that proposed a series of overhaul. Earlier on Thursday, President Trump contradicted his own White House and top national security officials in a Twitter post that criticized an important surveillance law, just as Congress began debating whether to approve it. And how much Democrats? I think you said how many Democrat 55 House votes. So according to Whiskers Crawley here is pointing out that 55 House Democrats voted to expand this. So this means that, as Cody's pointing out here in the chat as well, Democrats voted for this as well. Latin Barbie, thank you so much for the star points. I appreciate that. So guys, this is your resistance. This is your resistance. They just approved continuing over-extensive anti-privacy laws to let the intelligence communities in the administration of a president who brags about watching girls get changed in a locker room, they just voted to let that guy in his administration continue to look at your information for no reason, essentially. Democrats went along with that. This is your resistance. This is the resistance. They give Trump his approval on this, on warrantless surveillance powers. They give him approval on that. They give him more of a military budget than the administration even asked for. This is your resistance. This is your resistance, folks. And the stream went out. All right, the stream just went out. Sorry about that, folks. The stream just went out over on the live me, so we're going to try to fix that up. All right, hopefully some people start jumping back in here. What's up, Joe? Hey guys, we got I don't know what happened, but the stream just kind of crashed on me. Yeah, the stream just kind of crashed on me. Sorry about that. I don't know what that was all about. But we were pretty much finished with that story, so we're just going to jump into a new one. Foxy, hello. Hey guys, sorry. Yeah, somehow we just kind of lost the stream. All right. All right, so we got some more articles here. And sorry about that. We pretty much finished we finished that last one. So let's move on to the next one. We got one from Joe here. This is from Vox. Thank you for the share, Latin Barbie. California Democrats likely to endorse sexual predators. Okay, let's see what this is all about. Party activists must object to the automatic endorsement of incumbents to prevent this. California Democrats have a big problem. Two sitting assembly members, Raul Bocanegra and Matt DeBabney. Wow, those are like, wow. Hard to pronounce and hard to pronounce. Those are their names. I'm seeing these for the first time. Resigned after they were accused of sexually harassing and committing other inappropriate actions against women. But these two are the tip of the iceberg. According to rumors circulated within party activists and legislators, the Los Angeles Times has a list of 12 legislators with credible complaints of sexual harassment against them. Two of those legislators are said to be Republicans, which leaves 10 Democrats. One of the Democratic legislators included in the list I was given. This is the author of the article here, which is from Vox Publica. Sebastian Ridley Thomas recently resigned, citing health reasons. Another, Senator Tony Mendoza, has been publicly accused of luring a 19-year-old intern to his hotel room and giving her alcohol and inviting a potential employee to his apartment to review her another resume and then firing the staffers that reported this. Mendoza has taken a leave of absence, but he is still running for re-election. Chances are both Mendoza and the other 6 still publicly unnamed Democrats, supposedly in the list of accused sexual harassers, some of whom may even be rapists, will receive the California Democratic Party's endorsement. As the rule stands, an incumbent Congress member, assembly member, or state senator will be automatically placed in the party's endorsement consent calendar. So there's just no, there's no filter. There's no talk about primaries. And the DNC, let's keep in mind, the DNC is trying to pass those rules. Like, they're trying to pass rules to discourage any primaries within their own party from happening. Like, they want people within the DNC and the DCC and stuff like that, the DCCC, to sign an ordinance saying you're not going to do anything to compromise a sitting party member. Basically, you're not going to try to primary anyone out. And who was on board with stuff like that? People like Joe Manchin. People like Claire McCaskill. Your corporatists that know that progressives are coming from them because they are amidst the worst of dinos. So yeah, this is disgusting. And now, I mean, you can commit these kind of infractions. I'm not familiar with any of the specific candidates listed here. A lot of them have very hard names to pronounce. But this just goes to how broken the Democratic Party is, where it has nothing to do with a platform or a candidate or doing what's best for policy. It has everything to do with who's playing the company game the way we want it to be played, who is raising the most money, and who's just basically not going to rock the boat. And, I've said this before, I'll say it again, and And I can speak from a little bit of firsthand experience here. There are a lot of people attracted to politics that I think are very, very mediocre people, and they're attracted to politics for all the wrong reasons. They're attracted to it because of power. They're attracted to it because of corruption, and their ideas are non-existent to poor, and they're not worried about integrity. That thought doesn't even go through their head. So you know what I say to people out there, especially some of the young progressives out there, or old progressives, like whatever, age doesn't matter. Progressives looking to get into the fight. If you're thinking about running for office, just do it. Do it. And if you think, I don't know if I can handle the intensity of this job, you probably already have more than enough integrity for the gig. So do it. And yeah, I mean, I guess we'll just see. I'm sure we'll be hearing more about this. We'll see how it unfolds. This is from The Hill. Uh-oh. Bad news regarding Issa. Darrell Issa. So Darrell Issa, we talked about him yesterday. On Wednesday, he said he's not seeking re-election in California's 49th. He has, however, been discussing with colleagues about the possibility of running in a neighborhood San Diego district if embattled Representative Duncan Hunter resigns. So Issa is potentially going to be running in a different district. That district, however, is already run by a Republican in San Diego, Duncan Hunter. Some of these discussions happened as recently as Wednesday, which was yesterday, the day Issa announced he would not be running for re-election in his coastal Southern California district. Most of Washington took that to mean Issa, the former Oversight Committee chairman and Congress's wealthiest member, was leaving Capitol Hill for good. But in his statement, Issa never specifically said he was retiring from Congress. With the support of my family, I've decided that I will not seek re-election in California 49th District, Issa said. Later, he added, while my service to California's 49th will be coming to an end, I will continue advocating on behalf of the causes that are most important to me. I'll be still looking out for rich people. I'll still be trying to make as much money as I can. If there's another way that I can get involved with politics again so I can continue to be corrupt, I'll do that. The wording of his statement, specifically referring to this district another time, makes people believe he left things open to run for Hunter's seat if he resigns, one California GOP source told The Hill. An Issa spokesman did not respond to requests for comment for this story. Federal law doesn't require a candidate to live in a district in order to run to represent it. We know that. That's why there's a ton of representatives that don't live in districts, and they don't even live in the same state, and they have some bogus address or something like that. So I guess we'll see what Issa's done. He might not be done. I know we said it was good news that he's not. And it is good news because there's a good chance we might be able to get a progressive in the 49th. Doug Applegate is running there. He does have some corporatists he's running against. But we'll see what happens. And, I'd rather have a progressive in the 49th and then just another Republican in that San Diego district than still have just two Republicans. So I guess we'll see what happens here. All right. This is another thing. This is from Aunt Moira. Let's see what this is all about. This is a video.
American Prophet by James O'Keefe. Adventure.
Twitter is a ban of way of talking. Okay, this is from Project Veritas, which means I'm kind of going to skip it. No offense. It's just we have a lot of stuff to get through. Like people send a lot of stuff. Project Veritas, I'm not really, not a huge fan. Not really all that interested in what they have to say. And what interests me when they did the whole thing with Washington Post, they tried to get the Washington Post and they failed. And it's like, dude, you want to talk about how corrupt the Washington Post is? Just look at what's out there. They're owned by the world's richest person who passes ordinances that you can't criticize their advertisers or him. And they have a contract with the CIA. You need to run some kind of weird prank operation to try to prove that Washington Post is corrupt. All you need to do is just point out the skeleton of the newspaper. It's an incredibly corrupt newspaper that's never met a war it didn't like. It's a propaganda, war profiteering rag. Project Veritas is like, they're like the right-wing version of the Yes Men, except they're not creative or funny. So anyway, yeah, we'll skip that one. This is from Long Beach. He just needs to go away. I agree. Isa is on the roof. Let's see. Latin Barbie, tweet me an article at Ron Placone, and we will talk about it as far as Korea goes. Tweet me an article. And guys, I lost the earlier parts of the chat, so I know I had some chat stuff to get through, but unfortunately, because the Limey stream crashed on us this morning, I'm not able to dive into that. But let's go here. We're just gonna pick up where we left off. We keep going. This is from Long Beach, and this is the source here is the Chicago Tribune. This is the Netherlands. You have to answer questions. A U.S. ambassador offers uncomfortable silence. Interesting. Peter Hoekstra, the newly minted U.S. ambassador to the Netherlands, held his first conference with the Dutch media at his new residence in The Hague on Wednesday. It did not go well. Dutch journalist peppered Hoekstra, who became Trump's ambassador after serving 18 years as a Republican congressman from Michigan, with questions on unsubstantiated claims he made in 2015 about the chaos the, quote, Islamic movement had brought to the Netherlands. There are cars being burned. There are politicians that are being burned, he said at a conference hosted by a conservative group. And yes, there are no-go zones in the Netherlands. The comments have been widely described as inaccurate and reflect certain conspiracies about Sharia law that crop up in some circles of the far right in the West. When pressed by the Dutch reporters, Hoekstra declined to retract the comments or give specific examples to back them up. So basically, when an American politician, let me sum this up nicely, and we're going to look at this big picture. When an American politician is in a country where where reporters are actually able to do their jobs, maybe because they're not bought out by corporations, the way our corporate media is here, and those are the only reporters that get access, they don't know what to do because they are so used to not being held accountable for anything. Remember in the White House briefing room when Donald Trump said, or no, well, it wasn't Trump, I think it was it Scaramucci at the time? Or was it Priest? I mean, I don't know. The Trump administration has had more turnover than a third-party pyramid scheme. It's hard to keep track of who was in and when. But whoever it was that was press secretary at the time said, turn your cameras off. And the press said, okay, and turned their cameras off. Are you flipping kidding me? And that was news. That was news. They were saying, oh, the poor press. Trump's an oppressor to the press. Turn your camera on. It's your free. What are they going to do? Arrest all of you? Do you guys remember that? And remember how they painted that story as if like they basically said, hey, we have a press that will not do their job if they're just asked nicely by the powers that be to not do their job, because that's who they actually serve. Not you, not me. So when an American politician is in the Netherlands where reporters actually do their jobs, reporters that have access actually do their jobs, they're screwed. They don't know what to do. They're like, oh, shit, you're doing your job. You're holding me accountable. In fact, after saying he would be revisiting the issue, he simply refused to answer the question at all. But the reporters were not done with the line of questioning yet. Instead of moving on, another reporter would simply ask a variation of the question again. Everybody there had one question. That crazy statement you made. Are you going to withdraw it? We were not getting answers. So we kept asking it. If you're truly an honest and wise man, could you please take back the remark about burned politicians or name the politician that was burned in the Netherlands? An uncomfortable silence followed. Thank you, Hoekstra said. That's not an answer. Excuse me, I asked you a question. Another journalist jumped in. Mr. Ambassador, can you mention any example of a Dutch politician who was burned in recent years? Again, silence as Hoekstra stared around the room. Because without somebody telling him what to do, without a reporter that would give him a pass. He was just a squirming worm. Wow, what a pathetic excuse for a human being. This goes into what we were talking about. This is a sad, thoughtless, integrity-less person who is just, data is just put into their head, they spew it out, and they take their donor money. That's what they do. And they can get away with it in the United States because we don't have a media that holds them accountable. So they go to another country where the reporters do their jobs, and they are like a deer in headlights. They don't know what to do. Wow. An official just blankly, hey, you made these statements, they weren't true. Are you going to retract them? Nothing. Nothing to say. The biggest lesson of this story is how pathetic our media is. Because people like this Hoekstra fellow, who's been a Republican for 18 years, who's been floating around the political arena like a floating turd in a toilet, has been lurking for all these years because nobody holds him accountable. And he's used to a world where he can just lie unchecked whenever he feels like it. Whenever he wants to, he'll just make up whatever he wants and nobody cares. He goes to a country where reporters are able to do their jobs because they're not bought out. They're not paid for. And he can't handle it. Thank you for sharing that. This is a really cool story. I like it. I would watch the video. Long Beach, really, really cool share. Thank you. All right. We still got some more. And thank you guys for bearing with me here. I know I'm probably a little slower than usual just because my ears, I still feel like I'm underwater. Let's see here. Here's one from DC 420. This is from The Hill, and this is more not so good news. Trump officials debate targeted North Korea strike. I know someone was asking about Korea. This might be what they're referring to here. Trump officials debate targeted North Korea strike in bloody nose strategy. Here's a report. U.S. officials have reportedly talked about the potential to conduct a targeted strike against sites in North Korea in a bloody nose strategy. The Wall Street Journal reported that the strategy involves launching a targeted strike at a North Korean facility in response to a nuclear or missile test. Oh, geez. The strike would be an effort to show North Korea the potential consequences of its actions without leading to an all-out war. Hello, you just might. How are you? Trump administration officials have discussed whether the idea would even be possible, according to the Journal. According to multiple reports Tuesday, North Korea said it will send a delegation to the Winter Olympics this year in Pyongyang, South Korea. North Korea said during talks with the South it would send a group of athletes, high-ranking officials, and a cheer squad to the Winter Games. Trump last weekend said he would like to see North Korea get involved in the upcoming Winter Games. Relations between North Korea and the international community have been tense in recent months following a series of intercontinental ballistic missile launches. The UN Security Council voted unanimously last month to impose sanctions on North Korea aimed at strangling its economy. I think the U.S. should follow the UN's lead and impose sanctions if need be. That's better than these quote-unquote bloody nose missiles, which, by the way, what a dumb, gross. Hey, welcome back, Dem Socialist. Sorry, the stream crashed. Glad you were able to get back in. We're having some technical difficulties. Some technical difficulties over on Live Me. I think everything's still good over on YouTube. Yeah, we're still good over on YouTube. So I apologize for that today, you guys. But thanks for bearing with me. Trump administration officials have discussed whether this idea would even be possible. You know what's really weird about this article is it went from talking about the U.S., like talking about a targeted strike in a bloody nose strategy, which I've never heard the phrase bloody nose strategy before. Gee, instead of a bloody nose strategy, maybe they should entertain the idea of a bare knuckled strategy. That's where you just pretend to launch a missile, but instead you just you send a video of you pushing a prank button and one of those like goofy fake flag things comes out that says bang on it. That's the bare knuckle strategy. And then, of course, another alternative to the bare knuckle strategy or the bloody nose strategy is the wet willy strategy. That's literally where Trump goes to North Korea. He goes up to Kim Jong-un and he gives him a wet willy, which those are gross. Those are so uncomfortable. I think that's how we should solve all of our. I mean, because I'm a pacifist. I am anti-war. I think it should just be solved with, look, you know what? You keep launching. We're going to impose sanctions, and then we're going to come over there. We're going to discuss things, and if we can't reach a consensus, well, we're going to give each other wet willies. Charles, are you on board? You just said fine. Does that mean do you like this idea? There's the wet willy strategy. There's the bloody nose strategy. That's what they're going for. That's where you just launch a missile nearby. Trump will start a war with Iran or North Korea to save his presidency. Absolutely. Absolutely he would. And what's really sad is that we live in a country where something like that would save his presidency. Wartime saves presidencies in the United States. And keep in mind, when is the only time during this administration when people were praising Trump? When he bombed Syria. It was at that moment he appeared presidential. I'm guided by the beauty of our missiles, Brian Williams. That's the only time. It amazes me because members of the quote-unquote resistance supported this too and called Trump presidential. So you're saying that the biggest thing about Trump, the biggest thing about Trump is, the Supreme Court, people bring that up, which, valid, and the fact that he's a psychopath and he has his thumb on the nuclear button. And actually, it's him, so he has both thumbs on he needs to use two of them, but that's the biggest thing. So you're going to say you're so scared that this guy has his thumb on the nuclear button. Meanwhile, you're going to praise him when he uses it? What kind of signal are you sending? Especially to somebody like Trump who they like it when I do war. Well, I'm going to do more of that. He's not the non-interventionist he said he was. That was a lie. Just like Republican populist is a lie. It was at that moment he appeared presidential. It's really scary he has his thumb on the nuclear button. You're schizophrenic. You're going out of both sides. Oh, it's scary that he can just launch a nuke like that. That's real scary. We don't want Trump to have that kind of power. But when he uses it, we're going to praise him. Oh, we're going to give him more of a military budget than he even asked for. How messed up is our leadership? This is why we need a revolution. What kind of democracy would have something like this happen? A non-existent one. A non-existent one. It's a big plutocratic circle jerk. And so now they're going to go with the bloody nose strategy. It's disgusting and disturbing, Ron. I'm with you, them socialists. I really wish they would just get rid of the bloody nose strategy. Go for my wet willy strategy. It's much more. And this, hey, my ears. This is, my ears. Lord help us all. I'm with you, Marine. I am with you. Okay, guys, we might be all caught up. Let's see here. Let me go ahead and give a little plutocratic corporations of America. I like that. That's pretty accurate. Oh, this is from Darius. And Darius, I think you sent this yesterday, and we didn't get to it yesterday. Oh, and Kimmy, we got something from Kimmy too. So let's go. We'll go to Kimmy, and then we'll go to Darius. And then we're probably going to be out of time. Guys, we only have 15 minutes left, so if you did not send an article yet, please save it for tomorrow because we still got 2 more things to get through. Then we might do a couple headlines, and then we're going to be out of time, especially since I got my appointment to hopefully get some ear solution. some ear solution. So anyway, oh boy, this is about Walmart. This is from Kimmy. Walmart boosts minimum wage to $11 an hour, hands out bonuses of up to $1,000 for hourly workers. I'm sure there's a catch here. Let's not pat them on the back. Plus, $11 an hour is nowhere close to enough. That it's sad that that's a boost up. I mean, yeah. Can you tweet me an article about that? Because I'd like to talk about it, Dem Socialists. Can you tweet me an article? Because I would like, Dem Socialist says Julian Assange was granted citizenship by Ecuador. I would like to do an article on that. Oh, you did? Did I not? I did not see that one. Can you do it again? Can you retweet it? Sorry about that. Retweet that because I want to do that. We're gonna do that one. We're gonna end with that. So we're gonna go to Darius's thing. We're gonna do Kimmy's thing now. Then we're gonna end with the Julian Assange article. Walmart is boosting the minimum hourly wage for its U.S. employees to $11 an hour and dishing out bonuses of up to $1,000, crediting President Trump's tax cut for enabling the move. Once again, a big plutocratic corporations of America. You think that taxes are the reason Walmart doesn't pay living wages? It's not. It's because there are no unions and they're predators. That's why. The Walton family has more money than they could ever spend in 10 lifetimes, probably. So they threw their workers some crumbs, and they're trying to make it out like a Republican tax bill is the reason for those crumbs. Because, yes, Walmart does encourage their employees how to vote. Walmart does. And I've done stories about that in the past over the years. Walmart does have these weird, subtle videos where they encourage their employees to vote Republican. That is true about Walmart. Or for any corporatists. I mean, maybe a couple Democrats too. I mean, you know, there's Democrats on the board over there. And, you know, so it's not. As long as you're in the money party, that's all that really matters to these people. The increase for the nation's largest private employer also comes amid political pressure to bolster minimum wages. The big box store chain, which has more than 1 million U.S. hourly employees, will reap a windfall from the U.S. corporate tax rate cut from 35% to 21%. And keep in mind, they're not actually paying that to begin with. They're paying about 8% because of all the loopholes that are in the tax bills already. They don't actually pay that amount. That's just what's listed on paper, and now it's listed as even less than that. So don't be fooled by this. Is it nice that there's employees all across the country, most of who don't have a choice to work anywhere else, that they're getting a little more in their paychecks now? Yes, of course, that's a great thing. But don't be fooled by we're gonna boost it up to almost a living wage now. It's getting closer to becoming a living wage. Still not a living wage. I don't think there's anywhere in the country where you can live on $11 an hour. But, and they're gonna make it out like, oh, this is because of the tax cut. We want to give you more. We're just so strapped in our taxes. Unbelievable. All right. Darius says this pay raise is just lighter chains for the workers. Yep. All right. So, Dem Socialist, I got that article. Thank you for sharing that, Kimmy. All right, so this is from Darius. Let's see what this is all about here. Oh, so this is somebody responding to one of my tweets. So I guess we'll go over this. Thanks for sharing this with me, Darius. This fellow American, they're referring to me, has a great deal right to say on police brutality. 1918 Live. Police detached from the masses and brutality reinforced through a hodgepodge system growing more violent. From ignoring murdered black citizens in the nation's south to union busting West Virginia miners. So 1918 Live, I'm not familiar with what that is, but John S. Reed, okay. Oh, okay, so this is like a Marxist media outlet, it looks like. Let me go ahead and Google that. So he's referring to the outlet, not me. I thought he was saying that he liked my tweet. All right, so let's see what this is. I'm going to try to find more information. And when you just Google it, not much comes up. Okay, so they're talking about police brutality. As you guys may have known, a couple days ago was quote unquote Law Enforcement Appreciation Day. And I think that Law Enforcement Appreciation Day should consist of recognizing that there's a very brutal systemic problem in law enforcement, because there is. It's a systemic problem. What a systemic problem means is that there's a problem within the system itself on every level. That doesn't mean every single person with a badge is bad or good, because that's a null and moot, that's a straw man. Whenever someone says not all cops are bad, you say to them that's a straw man, because we're talking about a systemic problem. That would be like, oh, hey, there's an E. coli outbreak in lettuce. Well, not all the lettuce is bad. Some of it's still good. Yeah, we know that, but there's an outbreak. There's a problem. There's a systemic problem right now that we need to solve. It's the same concept here. There's a systemic problem that needs a systemic solution. And if you have a systemic solution, the people that are doing their jobs the right way don't have anything to worry about. The people that aren't do. And the system's going to be better. So 1918 Live, I don't know much about this outlet, but I'd be curious to learn more about it. Yeah. Let me do the hashtag thing, see if other stuff pops up. Yeah, I'm not familiar with this. There's a lot of hashtags that people use, but I don't see anything like about the outlet itself. So anyway, yeah, I'd be curious to learn more about it. Sounds interesting, but right now I'm not really sure what that's all about. Okay. Oh, here we go. 1917 Live and 1918 Live was with the retweet for the 100th anniversary of the Revolution. He was a popular participant, thought it was cool. He liked making that link. Oh, cool. All right. Thanks, Darius. I get it. Awesome. It is. I, of course, want them to come around and do the right thing, but it's like a cheating husband bringing you a diamond necklace. Kimmy compared the whole Walmart thing to like a cheating husband bringing you a diamond necklace. I feel you. All right. So we got to go to Seth's thing, and then we are going to, I think we're going to close out. Yeah. And DC, I saw you just sent, you sent something real quick here. We'll do this really quick. And then we'll close on Seth's Democratic Socialist thing on Julian Assange. So a study has revealed, this is from the Cannabist, so I guess it might be a little biased, admittedly. Study, legalizing marijuana nationally could generate more than $132 billion in tax revenue, plus 1 million jobs in 10 years. Really? And here I thought that all these catastrophic, environmentally dangerous pipelines that were going to give us 15 temp jobs were the way to go. You're telling me that legal pot might be better? Well, holy shit. That's awesome. That's a cool study. And, here's the thing. The proof's in the pudding so far. All the states that have legalized it medicinally and recreationally, they all have good things to say. Colorado, Washington, Oregon. Here in California, I mean, we just got it for recreation now. And people are already seeing, positive effects. And yeah, I mean, $132 billion in tax revenue. Think of all the good things we could do with that. They'll probably just try to make bombs with it, but think of all we could, as Dem Socialist points out, there's free childcare every year. That's free childcare. That could be universal health care. That could be educational opportunities. Let's see here. All right. So, and a real quick thing that someone just tweeted. Do you agree with Malcolm? It seems relevant. And here is this is a Malcolm X quote. The white liberal differs from the white conservative only in one way. The liberal is more deceitful than the conservative. Both want power, but the white liberal is the one who has perfected the art of posing as the Negro's friend and benefactor. I think that sentiment is very relevant today. Because when we talk about the corporate media too, when we talk about MSNBC, I would make the argument right now that contemporarily, MSNBC is worse than Fox News. Because what's worse, the school bully that is the school bully and wants to beat you up, or the person that pretends they're your friend but stabs you in the back? What's worse? I would say the pretender. All right, so let me find Dem Socialist's article, and then we got to dismount here because I have to go get my eardrops, guys. Thank you so much for bearing with me, especially since I'm a little under the weather and we had a stream crash. We had a lot of things kind of in our way here, but we got through it. So, guys, we're going to close today from an article from the Washington Post. Democracy dies in darkness, and they're doing everything they can to help that out. Ecuador grants citizenship to Julian Assange in bid to end London embassy standoff. Ecuador has granted citizenship to WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange, the South American nation's foreign minister announced Thursday, in a bid to resolve an unsustainable solution at its embassy in London, where Assange sought refuge more than 5 years ago. But a standoff with British authorities continued as the Foreign Office rejected an Ecuadorian request that it grant diplomatic status to Assange, insisting instead that the Australian national leave the embassy to face justice. Ecuador's Foreign Minister, Maria Fernandez Espinosa, subsequently said that Assange would not leave the embassy in the absence of security guarantees. She said in a news conference Thursday in Quito, the Ecuadorian capital, that Assange was granted citizenship on December 12th, after having applied for it in September. Espinosa also said that Ecuador was concerned about potential threats to Assange's life from unspecified other nations and was looking for a dignified exit from the stalemate in London. Assange, who angered the U.S. government when his anti-secrecy organization published troves of classified documents, sought refuge in the Ecuadorian embassy in 2012 to avoid extradition to Sweden. Where he was sought in an investigation of alleged sexual offenses. Sweden later dropped the case, but Assange remained ensconced in the embassy because he still faced arrest by British authorities for jumping bail. He also is said to fear extradition to the United States, where the Trump administration's Justice Department is weighing whether to charge him for his role in publishing the secret documents obtained from the Army intelligence analyst Chelsea Manning. And they go out of their way. The Washington Post, because again, the Washington Post is very pro-war. The Washington Post is very, on the side of the intelligence agencies, on the side of the CIA. They have a deal with the CIA, so they're very much against any whistleblowers. They go out of their way to point out that Chelsea Manning was then known as Bradley Manning, just as a subtle little, dig. Like they had to make sure that they pointed that out just as a subtle, you know, a subtle little dig at Chelsea Manning being transgender. They just had to do it. They couldn't resist. All right. News of the Ecuadorian move to grant Assange citizenship emerged Wednesday when the Ecuadorian newspaper El Universo reported that, according to the country's civil register, he had been assigned an identity number. The Ecuadorian foreign minister said Tuesday that her country was trying to resolve a situation she described as unsustainable. Assange has been living in a small office at the country's London embassy, which gave him asylum in August 2012. He had surrendered to British police in December 2010, a month after Sweden requested his extradition. So I guess we'll see. I mean, we'll see if he makes it to Ecuador. I think it's cool that he was granted citizenship. I don't think he committed any crimes, so I don't think he should be. Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll see what happens here. I mean, right now this is still at its infancy stages. This happened on Wednesday, which was yesterday, as of the recording of this. And they want to make sure he will have secure transport, which makes sense. They should do that because it's yeah. There's a lot of hurdles there. So yeah, at this point, we'll just have to wait and see what happens here. I mean, it's good news. I think it's good that he was granted it. I mean, he applied for it, so it seems like he wants it. And we will see what happens. Right now, we're just kind of watching this unfold. And guys, we are completely out of time. Thank you guys so much for being a part of this. This has been Get Your News On with Ron. And this is the world's first streaming online news show. What does that mean? That means you guys tweet me articles at Ron Placone on Twitter, or you can use our Reddit subsection, Get Your News On with Ron. And that's how we build the show. I have not seen any of these news stories. I learned about Julian Assange for the first time right now. I've just learned about this. And, we're watching it unfold. Hopefully it has a happy ending where he gets to Ecuador safely. That's what I'm hoping for. Thank you so much for being a part of this. I'm sorry that I'm a little under the weather, so I'm a little loopy today. Like I'll say wetter instead of weather. Yeah, my ears. Like I feel like I'm underwater as I'm talking. But I'm going to go get some eardrops. So I'm going to be feeling great tomorrow. So thank you guys so much for being a part of this. We do this every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And guys, if you want to support this show, you can do so over at patreon.com/Ron Placone, where for just $1 a month, as low as $1 a month, you can get exclusive podcasts. You can get exclusive videos. You get free tickets to my shows when I come to your town. You get writings. My cat Lucy writes a bunch of dialogues. You get to read those. You also get meetup information. We've done 3 successful meetups, one in Pittsburgh, one in Portland, one in Los Angeles. Those are going to continue. Those have been really cool. So it's a good way to meet some like-minded folks. So guys, please, if you are so able, patreon.com/Ron Placone. You can give it any level you're comfortable with, and you get all the same content. There are no tiers. I don't do tiers at all. Any level you give at, whether it's $1 or more, you all get the same stuff. Thank you guys so much for being a part of this. This has been Get Your News On with Ron. I'll be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Get your news on with Ron. I want to know what's going on with the news on today. Tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together. We'll make it all alone. Get your news on with Ron. I want to know what's going on. Get my news on today. Thank you guys so much. Get Your News On with Ron, the world's first pure curated streaming news show. Follow me on Twitter at Ron Placone. RonPlacone.com. Find out when I'm coming to a city near you. Patreon.com/Ron Placone if you are so able. We'll be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Stay safe in this crazy world at ours. Peace.